On this edition of Christopher's Kitchen, we're talking about a very interesting dessert. A lot of people may not think about using pears as the main dessert. I'd rather perhaps like a garnish at times, but this one, it's the star of the show.
Yeah, these are it's a classic dish, poached pears. We actually poach the pears in red wine, sugar, and some spices. You can serve those hot or cold. I generally serve them cold in the summer, and since it's winter right now, this would be good served warm or at least room temperature. This is good if you're going to entertain a small group at home for the holidays. This is not something you want to do for 40 or 50 people, although you could. This works best for 6, 8, 10 people at home.
Let's talk about preparation here.
Sure. I'm using Poached pears today. Those are good for boiling. They hold up real nicely. You can see these are quite large. Definitely one per person is plenty. Now you want to buy a pear that's not overripe in this case. I mean, just still firm, not mushy. Do not buy mushy pears because these are going to boil in this red wine for about 20, 30 minutes maybe. And also you notice I leave the stem intact here. It makes a nice presentation at the end. So you're going to put that in red wine. You can use any sort of red wine that you want. That is about 1 liter. Okay. Now, a normal bottle of wine that you get is 3/4 of a liter, but they do sell liter bottles. But don't spend a lot of money on the wine. You are going to boil most of the characteristics out of it, and you're adding spices and stuff to it anyway. So about 1 liter of red wine. I've got 1.5 cups of sugar. Do just a pinch of nutmeg, a pinch of cloves, and 1 cinnamon stick. Bloop. And we're just going to put that on the stove, Mike. Okay, now, Mike, we would just want to bring that to a boil. And once it comes to a boil, just lower it down to a simmer. Make sure you turn them. Now, I've only got 3 here, but for this much wine, you could do 4, maybe even 6 in there.
Now, what color are we looking for here?
That ruby red.
Okay.
Some might in this town might say maroon. Okay. I'm just going to check these for doneness. Just stick my knife in, make sure it comes out nice and easy. Okay. And those are good. I've actually let these cool just a little bit before I try to grab these out of here like that. Just want to take these out. Okay. And you see that color there? Real nice ruby red color. Okay. Now, Mike, I'm going to put this liquid back on the stove, and we're going to reduce that till it becomes kind of like a sauce consistency or a syrupy consistency.
All right, and besides just the pear on a plate by itself, you're going to add a nice little sauce with it.
Yeah, we're going to make what's called a creme anglaise. If you didn't want to make this, you could actually melt some vanilla ice cream, and nobody would know the difference. It'd be just fine. But we're going to do it from scratch here since Mike demands that from me. Okay, I've got my 3 egg yolks here. I'm going to add about a teaspoon of vanilla to that. Okay. And I also have about 2 cups of heavy cream here on the stove. And I've taken it off just before the boiling point. You don't want that to boil. And then what we're going to do is temper the egg yolks, okay? So we're going to add just a touch of this almost boiling cream. Just warm up those egg yolks. If we were to add this too fast, Mike, it would curdle.
It'll turn into scrambled eggs.
That is correct. So we're just adding just a little bit at a time. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of that now. It should be fine. And I'm going to return that to the pan just for a few minutes until that sauce thickens up. Like those egg yolks will thicken the cream. I'm just returning this to the heat, Mike, and we're just going to let that just get a little bit of thickness. It should coat the back of a spoon. Okay, so what that means is it should be thick enough just to run your finger across like that, and it's got some consistency to it. That's all we want, just right there. Okay?
All right, and now comes the finishing touches on the pears.
Right. Mike, I'm going to show you a couple of different ways you can present this. Now, what you want to do, you see I've cut the bottom off that so it sits nicely in the pan. I'm just going to make sure that's nice and level. Sorry, it sits level in the plate, just like that. You can serve it like that with the core in it, and then we can serve our sauces. Or you can take a vegetable peeler and you can core out the core. You know, you can try to get most of the seeds and then plate that. And even better, if you really would like to surprise your guest, you could take your vegetable peeler and really core out the inside of this pear. And then you could, I have some pastry cream and whipped cream together, and you can just fill that pear just like that. So that when your guests cut into that with a spoon, it'll be a nice surprise, okay? And now, Mike, we have our 2 different sauces for this. I'm going to go ahead and use that filled pear because I think that's That's great.
And this is a reduction of the wine.
This is the reduction of the wine. You can see that's just a little bit thick there. It's got the nice spice. And you just want to let that coat the bottom of the plate and also coat that pear because it'll shine it up a little bit. Now I have the creme glaze that we've done, and I'm just going to drizzle this right over the top. Today we're serving these room temperature. I'm just going to drizzle that right over the top like that. Let that pool in the bottom. And then you can garnish with just a basil leaf or something. Now some people like to put a little leaf here to make it look like the pear. And there you have it, Mike. And let's see if we can just kind of cut into this a little bit.
Very nice texture. It's probably not the taste most of you were expecting it to be. It wasn't for me anyway. What a great, classy dessert that would make to dress up your meal. And don't forget that this is available on the website. All you have to do is go to kbtx.com, access the food page, and all of Christopher's recipes are right there. That's it for this edition of Christopher's Kitchen. We'll see you next time. For Christopher Lampo, I'm Mike Wright.